back again. Another Man in the Van, episode 12, series 2. Yeah, that's right. Again, I'm parked up in the arse end of nowhere trying to get 4G on the signal because of poxy COVID. I shouldn't treat it like that. I know it's a bit dodgy, in it. But you know, it's just annoying, isn't it? Anyway, let's get started. You can see who the guest is. Before I bring him on, big shout out again to RelaxtoRace for getting behind us, what we're doing here. Also, FXR, got a nice new shiny hat again. Keep them coming, fellas. You need to cover up my bald head. Remember to check out FXR. They've all got the 21 kit out. Looks sharp, very sharp. So get on to that. Right, enough about all that. Big shout out to these people, though, because we wouldn't do it without them. Oh, that way I always get confused. There we go. Let's get him in. He's looking a little bit... he's looking a little bit... How would I put it? Well, it just looks like he's got... It looks like he's got a leech on his head, but it's not. Let's bring him in.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Jake Nichols. Always a pleasure to talk to you. I tell you what, I'm excited about this one because, you know, of late, as you got a bit older, mate, as well, you know, you've got a little bit more like we all do when we get a bit older, a little bit more like forthright, saying it as it is. Let's talk about that, though. At least you're not got it covered up. A lot of people will know, but a lot won't. Talk us through the head injury.
I basically got whacked with a bungee cord last Thursday, loading my trials bike up, and yeah, it hurt straight away. And it was one of those bucket sort of ones that you sort of hold your head for like a couple of seconds, and then took my hand away, and it was just pissing with blood all over my truck. So yeah, not really a good story behind it, to be fair, but a bit, but just a nightmare. I had to go to A&E and have it glued up and stuff. It was ridiculous. But obviously right where the goggles sit, so I looked like a prat all weekend with a huge plaster over it.
It's not a good story. It's not a good story for you because you was in pain and nearly had your eye out. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But, you know, for comedy value, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Whacked in the head with a bungee.
It's a shame no one saw it, though. I was literally on my own in a field, and like, if someone would have seen it, at least it would have been worthwhile. But no one saw it at all, and I had to get my wife to pick me up and take me to hospital at 8:30 at night. It's like terrible.
So you didn't have your phone with you, because you could have done the whole Rocky Balboa thing and all like.
Yeah, I did have my phone with me, but I didn't really. I don't know. I was more pissed off. I was so pissed off, to be honest with you, and it did hurt, to be fair.
Yeah, I bet it did. Listen, you're not one for, like we said, to make excuses as well. So let's talk about the sort of immediate past that's just happened over the weekend, the Michelin MX Nationals. Again, you know, you've got out there. It's obviously not gone your way. That hasn't helped, but you never use an excuse. But then it didn't go your way, regardless of the head injury, really, did it? You just couldn't quite sort of get into the swing of it from the stuff you said on the Buildbase Honda video and stuff.
Yeah, it's it. I mean, well, it's frustrating for me because it's not really like my kind of a setup or track in the past. Really, I've struggled there in the past. I've only actually raced there once, and I really, really didn't enjoy it to race. I love the track, but I don't really enjoy racing around it. I find it very hard to pass. But in fairness, like Justin changed the track, and I thought it was brilliant. And practice, I felt like a school kid. I was enjoying myself so much, and actually in the first race I was really enjoying myself as well. I got a really bad start, and I had in my eyes, a really good 10 minutes. Like I came from probably 15th to 4th, and I pulled Tommy in a bit, and it's one of those tracks on a 450. I mean, my bike's 63 odd horsepower, so they're so fast, and like you can really let the bike get away from you a bit around there, and it's funny, like if you let that happen for more than one lap, you're buggered. Like your arms are gone, and you'd probably see that happen to everyone pretty much in the top 5, apart from Van Donnick in the first race. Like Tommy dropped off, didn't he? Bobryshev dropped off, and I was the lap I crashed. I wound my neck in a bit because I'd caught Tommy up by quite a bit, and whoever was in front of him at the time, I can't really remember. And I felt really good, but I felt myself a couple of times almost clinging on a bit for dear life with my fingers. and felt my arms like kind of slightly go. And as you get older, you realise that, don't you? You kind of like, oh, I better.
Oh, mate, you are not filling me with confidence right now after I announced this week that I'm going to start riding again. You're not selling it one bit.
Yeah, and then that lap I was trying to relax, really, really trying to relax, and I just got it all wrong, and I went down like a sack of shit, to be honest with you. And it was a crash. I was slightly sideways off a really slow jump, and I was like, oh, that's no worries, like I've got it. I just thought I'd just save it. And it just threw me down, and when I went down, I just bent my thumb all the way back, and it doesn't sound like much, but I think we've all done it. And it was crap, to be honest with you. Like, straight away I was as weak as a kitten for about half an hour.
That is underrated and taken for granted until it goes missing.
Yeah.
Literally, like how Mel Pocock has done what he's done since is beyond me, because I've only had one thumb injury where it was dislocated for a while and whatever, and it was just almost impossible to ride with any sense. Yeah,
and well, 5 days later, and I still can't turn a key with that same hand, you know. And you're like, I only bent my thumb back. It was still
230s round cusses on a chubby middle track with a load of ruts. Yeah.
So that was kind of, that really pissed on my chips, because I'd obviously I felt like I'd really got my head around the place, and I was really enjoying myself. I passed a lot of people, and I was quite open last time we raced it. I said it's a scale electric track with one good line around there, you know. But
I know this for a fact, bit of insight, because I know that you were having banter and back and forth with Justin in the lead up to the event, because, you know, after our Rocket Hill Sundown event, I was out picking up one bag of rubbish, which they all did amazing at that, and then I was like, who's that riding around? You know, didn't even know it was you for 20 minutes. And then so, you know, and you said then you get in here to get a bit of practicing because it's not your favourite, and then you've been back and forth with Justin a little bit leading up to it, sort of, you know, of opinions of how the track be. But ultimately, in a short period of time, he kind of turned it around, and the new track layout seemed better, right?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I thought what he did was so good. Like, it was so much more fun to ride as well. Forgetting racing, which obviously was like, I think it needs to be every racetrack's goal needs to be produce racing first and enjoyment second, if you like.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and it was just, I was really disappointed deep down that happened, because obviously I had to pull out of that race, and I'd never pull out of races unless something's seriously wrong, but I just could not do it. And then I really had to strap my thumb up quite a lot, and I got asked, so like Dave said, are you going to be all right? Are you going to ride the second race? And I was like, I actually don't know, to be honest with you. You know, I kind of thought it might be all right, but it might be impossible, to be honest. It was, and I'm making it sound like it was really bad, but at the end of the day, it's a really badly sprained thumb, and we all know how bad they can be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew it was nothing more, but still. And I got a good start, which was absolutely pivotal to that race for me, because I had so much adrenaline straight away, and it let me go, and I went. Do you know what I mean? And it was tough, but it wasn't too bad. It didn't hold me back particularly at all, really. What held me back was I had in my mind, like, just survive, to be honest with you, and get through the race. And if I'd have actually got my head out of my ass and stopped thinking along those lines and actually pushed forward, it would have been a better race. But that mentality, more than my thumb, held me back. And I didn't move around on the track, and I had some really bad lines. And I really found them out once Josh Gilbert and Clarkey passed me with 2 laps to go. I followed them, and I was so angry, because there was 3 or 4 turns on the track that I was probably going about 4 meters further than them. And then, it's frustrating, but I can't, you know, the thumb didn't help, don't get me wrong, but it's not, it wasn't all on that.
Yeah. So, by the way, just before we move on to my next question, I did not write helmet for Jake's name. He wrote that himself, I think, not really knowing how this streaming works. So he self-proclaimed called himself a helmet, not me, not us. I can't take any responsibility.
You've called me it before, though. I know you have.
No, I actually haven't. Probably far worse. No, I haven't. I haven't had any reason to dish you. I don't think ever. Why would I? No, I try not to dish too many people at all. Anyway, actually, I'm gonna be very complimentary now. You might struggle to take this compliment. I don't think you will. I'm not going to go into the full family background, but either way, you're obviously running your own very successful business now. You're focusing on that because how old are you now, Jake?
30.
30. So you're getting towards. I always say sort of 30 years is when you get to 30 years of age. It's kind of you're on the downside of a career. It doesn't get any easier with injuries and stuff like that. So you've got that going on. You're doing all right in life in that side of it. Like I said, I'm not going to delve too deep into that, people. But so I always wonder. I think it's so refreshing that your motivation to still do this is still there because you've got other things on the go. You don't have to be doing this if you see what I'm trying to say in the most light way possible. And yet here you are, apart from the bungee, which was just a freak thing, pushing yourself through it all, injuries, whatever, still going at it. And let's be honest, again, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but you've had a fair amount of knocks in your career, and yet you still keep coming back. So what's the drive? What is it?
I just love racing. I genuinely love racing. And, like you said, since I finished Grand Prix and started working full time, I've had two of the biggest injuries in my career. I had a dislocated hip and then a really, really complicated leg fracture, lower leg fracture. And I get asked, and to be honest with you, I don't so much get asked it now with business, with people we deal with every day, who come in and out of our business, who we deal with, because I don't really understand it, and I can see they don't get it at all, because we're sat in a big building, and it's a successful company thanks to what my dad's done in the past, and he's given the company a head start. He's still obviously flat out involved, but and they don't understand it. And my answer is I just love racing. My dad was really, really strong on the fact of me stopping racing in 2017 when I did my hip. And I've always struggled, before then, I've always struggled with understanding how my dad works with business. So he sold his previous business in 2015 and didn't need to work again, to be honest with you. And I didn't understand why he wanted to work again. And there was a night we were sat down chatting, and he was basically, we don't argue, but we go back and forward. And he said, why have you done? He said, why the hell do you want to race again? And I randomly came out with it, and I'll never forget it. I said, you don't need to work ever again. I was like, but what are you doing? I was like, and I explained it because his business has always been hiring stuff out, but he can't keep away from selling things. So the success is made on hire, but he always sells things as well. And I said, you can hire out stuff till the cows come back, but I said, your buzz is out of selling things. And I said, you're on about me practicing with my mates for the rest of my life and enjoying myself because I've got a good group of mates and we have a good laugh and they're all a mix, whatever. But I said, but I don't get a kick out of that. I said, my kick is racing. And I said it and I was like, the pennies just dropped a little bit from my side as well.
Yeah, you didn't even know how much, really.
Yeah. And since that day, he's never really questioned it, but we understood each other. And I understood myself a little bit as well as him. And that's it. I really, really enjoy racing though. Racing, full stop. But obviously something that I'm good at is obviously the number one thing. And to be honest, it comes perhaps a bit easier to me nowadays than it used to because I don't worry so much about it because I've got obviously other stuff going on. I treat it as perhaps as a hobby.
Yeah, when you say you don't worry about it, so what you mean is you do worry about it when you get there, but you're not like when we're younger. It is an obsession, isn't it? You're just driven with it 24/7. You're pretty much thinking about it all the time. Maybe not so much when we're in our late teens, early 20s, and girls arrive on the scene. But other than that, you're pretty much all the time thinking it. But now you've got, outside of your weekends and your training, you've got something really to dig your teeth into and occupy your mind elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, when we lived in Belgium, my wife to tell you, I didn't sleep. I was such a bad sleeper. And the man who owns Wilvo, Louis, who was a big team sponsor at the time, he spent thousands on trying to find things to help me sleep because I worried and I stressed so much about my results and everything. And I'm not really a stressy person, but it would keep me up at night, like worrying about stuff with racing. And like now it's a different story, it's, and I ride better because of it.
I did not know that side of it. See, I would add you down as always being super chilled out. But learn something.
Yeah, I was a real just worried, and I was always worried I wasn't doing enough, and I was always doing too much most of the time. And yeah, it's just funny, really. And now that's gone, and I obviously care about my results, but I think I have perhaps a bit more inner confidence than I used to. Yeah. Don't know, really different, and I treat it more as fun, and but at the same time, when I go to a start, I'm as serious as I've ever been. So, and I automatically do that. I don't have to think about doing that, and I enjoy that side of it.
Yeah, so you're still putting the work, the work in with the training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Talking of which, physical training, I meant. Talking of training, backyard tracks. As far as tracks go, Jesus, I mean. There's backyard tracks, and your place is arguably like you could run a bloody AMA national there or whatever. Do you ever get, and you've got the facility, you've obviously developed it over the years and whatever. You certainly got the machinery, and you.
No, I haven't, because I hire it
out. Excellent. Really?
Yeah.
So, but do you ever? I mean, as you get older, you got to manage your body, regardless of how much you do in a week. We all know that, and it is a fine balance. We get to the other side of 30, and we just physically can't maybe do as much as we do, and still be peak form and physical fitness for a weekend. But when you're riding around there, have you ever, in the last few years since you got back a bit, since your hip, have you ever just thought, it's a bit boring riding around here?
Yeah, I had it last week and the week before that, to be honest with you. I've done, because it's such a winter track, and I started training in November for this year. I got to last week and I'm fed up of it, to be honest with you, because I often, I only ever have max 2 or 3 people with me. And it's a bit of a chore at the minute, to be honest with you. It actually is, and it's a shame. I feel really weird saying it, but I think anyone who's rode as much as I have, and you haven't, you understand it. And, if I have certain people turn up and ride with them and it's rained and the track's good, it's like, you get the bike straight back. But when it's a bit dry, it's a really, like I said, a winter track, so it gets dry and it's not very nice. You do get to the point where you're like a bit,
It's too much of a good thing, right? Too much of a good thing, no matter what it is, if you're just repetitive and you're doing it all the time, it can get.
Yeah, and what people don't realise is it's such a hard track. I get asked
about that. I mean, I've seen enough videos from there. Again, thinking about getting back riding myself, thinking, I think if I ever ring you up and say, Jake, can I come up? It's gonna be a few months down the line from when I get this new bike before I be saying.
But people see the jumps and they think, they're massive jumps, but it's only a couple of sensible, pretty big jump. But it's the actual track, and the terrain. The only thing I can describe it as is, when people go to Ling and struggle because it's hilly, it's sandy, it's hard underneath, and it's stony. That's just my track. It's slippery as hell. A line will last about 3 laps. Do you know what I mean? There's never a perfect berm. It's really hard ground to read as well. So it's hard enough when it's in good condition, and when it's not in good condition. And the biggest thing that's tough for me is there's nowhere like it when it's dry. So it's almost pointless for me to ride it sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And that can be difficult. I actually put some clay on it the other day, which most people would think, what the hell, why would you put clay on it? But one of our businesses it runs a wash plant, and basically the waste product of it is perfect clay. It's called silt, but it gets pressed, and it's you can make pots out of it. And
really,
and
so when you get a bit of moisture into that, it would be leaving the knob prints.
Literally, yeah. I put it on last week, and the ruts straight away were massive. It only did it in about 3 corners, but yeah. So, but yeah, it's tough to get motivated sometimes for it. Definitely.
I definitely need to come up. I'm long overdue a visit. I think the last time I rode your track was I did a photo shoot there for the Kawasaki catalogue when they first brought out the 450 with Ray Archer. What was that like? Oh God, I'd hate to guess when that was. 08, 07? No, I don't know. Whenever, but that's a long time ago. Put it that way.
What are you getting then? What bike are you going to get?
I'm getting a brand new because obviously I'm full factory. A brand new 2021 KX 250. I'm starting on a 250.
Oh, please, you said 250.
Yeah, I'm not going 450, obviously, because I'll kill myself, even though I've got a lot of experience. It's basically I've gone with it because it's got electric start, and I'm vertically challenged and got legs like ET. So I'm ready for it now. Like starting those before a pain in the ass. Now I'm just I'm there. I'll probably wear the battery out just doing that for hours because I'm happy I don't have to kickstart it.
Yeah, I'm pleased you're getting a 250. 450.
Yeah. I'll be 48 in November, so I got eased back into it. Yeah. I'm going to be doing a fair bit of riding next year. I'm not necessarily going to be racing, but we'll see.
I was pleased to see that when I saw it. I love that. I love people getting back into it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to come up there with my old sparring partner Easty as well. We can have a rip around.
He's far.
I know. You see, he's never stopped, does he? That's the thing.
That's how he's got away with it. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't beat him before anyway, so there's no chance I'm going to be beating him now. Even though I'll let him have it. There you are. That's not breaking news. We've known for a long time that Mark Eastwood is a better rider than me.
He'll love it that you come though. He'll love that.
Yeah. We used to go. Obviously I travelled with him at GPs and trained with him at several off seasons. So yeah, we'd do that. That would be good. So with you then, are you just playing it by ear each year, or are you've got a target of when you're going? I'm hanging up then.
No, until when I stop enjoying it, to be honest with you, I've always actually done 1-year contracts because I just find it weird to do 2-year contracts since I was good enough to get a contract rather than obviously have to buy into a team if you like. And I just carry on until I stop enjoying it. To be honest with you, it is hard balancing business and the riding, more so in the week, and got a little girl now, so that's also tough because I am at home, so that's tough. And luckily, you got an understanding missus, otherwise it'd be impossible. But I just until I stop enjoying it, I don't feel bad at all. Like obviously, I've had some injuries. A lot of them were when I was really young, so I kind of got away with it a little bit. But I don't really suffer too much at all with them. And I keep fit, and obviously, ride a couple of times a week, and I just enjoy the riding, to be honest with you. And I'll always ride if I can, but if I stop racing and if I start worrying, then I'll bin it off. But I must admit, sorry, go on.
No. I was just going to say, it's not offering advice, whatever. But for me, it was exactly like that. I thought, just keep going. I keep going. I had no real plans, and then you literally just know. And I've heard so many people say that before it happened to me. I was like, I can't believe that. But for me, it did. I literally just was at Desert Martin, whatever year it was, and I got a good start, and I came around to that big tabletop along the top. I was somewhere inside the top 10, and I just thought, balls to that. I'm not. This is on the first lap, mind. I'm like, balls to that. I'm not jumping. Just veered off to the left, caused a 5-bike pile-up behind me. Because obviously they're like, what's he doing? Took everybody out to the left of me, and then I just sort of thought, oh dear, I've caused a bit of carnage. Rode back to the van, and my brother come running back, and I just said, "That's it, I'm done." Literally like that, and I felt all right in qualifying and everything, but just like.
But it's different, isn't it? And no one really understands it apart from people that race. It's that situation, isn't it? Like the racing situation, you can ride and you can be on a stopwatch and you can take all the risks you want going around the track on your own on a stopwatch, but the racing is different, isn't it? And at the minute, I enjoy it more than I've ever done, like the racing. And to be honest, I can, in the last 2 years, 3 years since since I started with Honda, I've learned to get beaten. I can accept it.
Yeah.
I sound like I was an unbeaten rider. I was never that, but obviously in Grand Prix I was always getting beaten, but I always wanted to be there and kind of really struggled, and I'd over evaluate everything of how I could get to that point. Whereas it's now I know where I'm at, and like the days I get beaten, I'm like, well, I couldn't do anymore. I'm not going to like go home and
you left it all out on the track.
Yeah, and it's literally how it is, and I don't stress about it, because I'm like, and I stand there and I go, he was the bollocks today. I was nowhere near him. Do you know what I mean? And I can say that. Whereas before I'd be like, yeah, it wasn't that good. I was just had an off day, or So
yeah,
I think it's as long as I keep that, then I'll be sound.
Well, as we said at the start, you get into an age, so you've been, I wouldn't say outspoken, just brutally honest, which is refreshing, totally refreshing in some of the things you post, on your social media, and just when you've got something, you get it off your chest. I think through social media and the way the sport's gone over the last 10, 15 years, we're losing that some characters, and people are under contract, and they're worried about upsetting their sponsors and stuff like that. And, I think it's refreshing that some of the things that you outright saying, which is great.
It's worrying, isn't it? You notice it, and I guess the top of the sport is the Grand Prix and the American stuff, and they won't film when riders are having a bit of a set to after the race, will they? And it's just all going so clean, and no one's saying anything, and it's like you say, it's boring, isn't it? It's I had a bit of a set to with Kulas after the second race at Hawkstone, and people were like all buzzed, like asking about it and all that, and I was laughing about it like 10 minutes later, and it's like I said, oh, it's good, isn't it? It's all good entertainment, and often people, well, not often, people always forget why we're there and what we're doing. We're entertaining people, and it's losing that. And that needs to come back. It's entertainment, isn't it? People come and watch.
Oh, obviously, I was up in the commentary tower at Hawkstone. Was like, I couldn't leave because I was, but I was kind of like, oh, what's going on? I want to see what's going on. They're at it. They're at it. Brilliant.
Yeah, and I see it if I see it in anyone in any sport. I'm like, look at it, he's passionate. Look at him, he's losing his rag, and and it's like, it means something, doesn't it? I'm not saying you have to lose your rag to show that you're passionate, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, totally. You've got to show that you care, and that's what makes you a winner. It's as simple as that. If we all just rolled over, had our belly tickled, then we wouldn't have good racing.
Yeah. And saying when things are good and also when they're bad is something that doesn't get often said. I'll give a track credit for when it's great, and I'll also be outspoken for when I don't think it's good. Like I did.
And that's your opinion. Like you made very open comments about Landrake.
Yeah.
And the same weekend, your teammate Stephen Clark, loved the track. It's just personal opinion, isn't it?
Exactly.
Nobody's right or wrong.
No, totally. But I will say it if I feel like there's a way around. So yeah, I think it needs to be like that, doesn't it?
So, yeah, absolutely. So talking of honesty again, so and whatever. So we'll sign off with this. I don't need to do the backstory with you and all your successes and things that have gone wrong over the years. We know you've had a good career. You've had setbacks. You've raced GPs, whatever. You obviously have won a national title in the MX Nationals. Was unfortunate one year with the British, and whatever, that didn't quite come your way. But with all things said and done, you said you sleep easier now. Do you still? Is there anything in your career so far that just eats into you a little bit? I would say regrets, because I don't think you've got any. But is there anything where every so often something might just jump in your head and going, that's a pisser, that didn't go my way, or something that still crops up?
Yeah, I do a ride in the Eastern Centre at Blackswell 2 weeks before the last British will go to the grave with me. It's like,
really?
It makes me want to cry, to be fair, especially because because it was like I didn't really, and I didn't do anything wrong either. So I came out of a fast right-hander and had no rear brake because I'd lent it over, and the stoner got jammed underneath the lever of the rear brake. And I was on a qualifying lap, and I came into the penultimate corner at Blacksall, and there was a massive berm, and I kind of saved it and got around that. And I went over the single before the last turn, before the finish line, and I landed and had no rear brake again, obviously. But I guess normally you'd load the bike up with a bit of rear brake to get it turned, and it just didn't. Lost the front, and then my foot just went in a braking bump, basically. And then that was it. And like, I've never ever, I can't forget it. Do you know what I mean? And more so, obviously, I lost the championship, but I had like the worst 9 months of my life as well, because it was such a complicated injury. And you know, like I broke it badly, but I was in such disbelief that I didn't, you know, I rode my bike to the ambulance and sat in the ambulance, and they were like, "Are you all right?" And I was just like, "Is it all right?" And they were like, "Your leg's hanging off." Like it was, you know, it was minging. And I was just like sat there like, "Nah, can't, I don't, it'll be all right, won't it?" And I was just
refusing to believe it almost.
Yeah. And all the way to the hospital. And then, you know, and it was just such a nightmare thing. And I think that will always cling on to me, because I didn't need to do that race. And I was just doing it because I like racing. I've, to me, in my eyes, and I still will argue this till the day, because I got slated a bit for why was I doing it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I said, well,
you argued that at the start. You're a racer.
Yeah, exactly that. And and a few people like even commented to me and said like, "Why were you doing it? Why were you doing that race?" And I was like, well, "What else am I going to do? I'm going to go and ride at a track up the road called Blytheborough, which is identical to Blacksall, and be surrounded by 60 riders who I don't have a clue who they are, and they could turn up on a road bike and go around there. They've got no
you know, less marshals.
Yeah, less marshals." I said, and you know, so rubbish to that, like, you know, absolute load of crap. And but yeah, so it's one of those really. But otherwise, racing wise, I don't have any regrets. I probably would have moved to Belgium when I was 17 if I could go back. I remember going there with Mark Chamberlain when we were on Motorvision Days in 07, and I got a taste for it, and I didn't really like it because I got smoked every time I went to a track there. And then when I was 20, so 3 years later, I drove my camper there and slept in Coppin's driveway for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and I got smoked every day. And I soon came to the realization that from until the day I left Belgium in 2014, I got smoked every day. But that's what made me good, because I would.
Yeah, absolutely. So you learned the hard way.
Yeah, I got beaten by my teammates every single day we went practicing. When I was teammates with Fevre and when I was teammates with Koldenhoff, every time they would beat me, they'd be quicker than me, and then I'd beat them at the weekend. And then all of a sudden, Fevre, he's a very, very quick learner, and he just suddenly took off and went, and that was tough for me. But otherwise, you know, it was that was probably a regret not moving there, because it's amazing what that does. But I think those days are finished now as well, by what I can.
Yeah, seemingly.
With those tracks.
Obviously, that, you know, so man, that was a hard story to listen to, all that. Yeah, but I'm glad I asked you. But we're not going to end with that. We are going to end now, because obviously I'm sat in, like I said, I'm parked in the field.
Weirdo in a van.
I've had bizarrely, right. I should have turned the camera just a minute ago. This is a tiny little country lane near my house, not far, about a mile up the road from my house. But I'm having to sit in the van to get phone signal to link it to the computer, which I explained to Jake before we started. This is the annoying thing. While you were talking about that horrendous thing there, your injury and whatever, an old couple just walked down the lane, and I'm not joking, about 20 yards out of my left-hand window. I think they're having an affair, and they must have been in their 80s. They had a proper like a secret cuddle or whatever. Saw me, and then did a U-turn and cleared off. Things you see, you know, out in the country. I might do the all man in the vans from here in future. I think it's I don't know. I might be parked in a dogging spot for all I know. I better turn the lights off.
You'll have a flashing light in a second.
But on a more positive note, because obviously our light's fading fast, like you got a job to see me. That's not a bad thing. On a positive note, it's great to hear that you're going to keep going for as long as you can until you think it's all over and done. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. Keep enjoying it, and I don't know. I feel like I've got a lot to give with racing still, and you know, I keep enjoying it, and I'll have good days, I'll have bad days, and I think I proved to Hawkstone I hadn't raced for over a year when we went to Hawkstone, because I obviously had my leg issues when I came back. So you know, I've still got it in me, and you know, it's funny for me. The last two tracks are quite difficult, so it's put a bit of a dampener on it in a way. But then I've sort of been happy in some ways with what I've been able to do when I've backed against the wall still, because that field is so tough at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. And to be honest, you know, we're having just a stranger. You know, it's a shortened season. It's just a difficult year anyway. Nobody's really in full momentum. It's a tough one. I know everybody's in the same boat, but you know, fingers crossed. You know, if you stay fit and healthy and you're still up for it, we can hopefully get back to more championship racing, not only with the MX Nationals but the British and everything next year.
Yeah,
it'll be great. You know, hopefully between now and then you don't have one of those epiphany moments like I had at Desert Martin and go, "Oh bollocks, I'm done." Watching, you know, it'd be good to see you out there for at least a good number of years yet.
No, I appreciate that, and I hope I am, and I've got all aspirations of doing it, and you know, keep enjoying it, and hopefully get some good results and get a title there somewhere in between.
Yeah. In the meantime, you know, best of wishes with all the family and whatever. Yeah, say hello to everybody for me, and yeah, just that's it. I'll catch up with you. What, in 3 weeks' time at Fat Cat? Well, hopefully, you know, you can go out there and show them what you're made of. The championships is big ask now, but
yeah,
you know, but you can go out there and show them that you mean business for 2021, eh?
That's it, exactly. No, thanks very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, that's cool, mate. It's good to have you on. Helmet, as you are now. And one other thing, I say, really best of luck with the business side of it as well, and fair play to yourself for applying yourself with all that.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Your thing there, that promoting it like ever
Still
professional.
Still got my work on.
Okay. Well, I'm totally professional, obviously. Right, I'll let you have your dinner, and I'll see you in 3 weeks' time, mate.
Nice one. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
I hope that leech comes off your head by then as well.
It's glue. It's all glue. I'm not picking it off because it will just go again.
All right. Right. I look like I'm now in the VIP, the CD VIP corner of a nightclub with this light, don't I? It's like whatever. I might turn the light off because there's a couple of lap dancers on their way over. I will. Right. Mate, we're out of it. Right. I'll see you later. I'll sign off.
Nice one. Thanks a lot.
Nice one, mate. Thanks.
Yeah.
So there you go. That was Jake Nichols. Yeah, being brutally honest as always. Again, the Man in the Van Motocross Show is brought to you by FXR. If you can still see it, I always get the can the wrong way down, don't I? RelaxtoRace arm pump oil. It's getting a bit dingy in here, but I'll sign off and hang around, see what happens around this shifty country lane. Until next time, I'm not sure we're going to get on for episode 13, but that's the beauty of it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon. I'm out of here.